Pink ladies. So I actually refused. He told me, Florence, you will do it. I said, no, that is for technical stuff. I asked him, are there exams? He said, very easy. I said, I won't go. He said, you will go. He told his driver to actually take me to the venue. I went, but I was not willing, knowing that notion it is a technical field. Then he told me, you will beat those technical people in exam. We were taken through the QMS. Then we sat for the exams, and actually, I was number 2. I was beaten by one technical person. From there, I changed my aspect about the technical and the support thing. I went to school. Maybe I went back to change my profession. I graduated in 2013, but I moved now officially sometimes last year to procurement. Procurement is a process of purchasing goods or services. My day entails executing these processes. It starts with reviewing what was pending, because it is always a continuous process. You have to do the quotations. There are openings, evaluation. I do professional opinions, generate LPOs and LSOs. So LPO generally is for goods and LSOs for services. We have opportunities at Kenya Bureau of Standards, especially for the AGPO group. There is allocation actually for them that they are not fully utilizing. So wanakaribishwa Kenya Bureau of Standards to get more information and to register as AGPO group so that they can enjoy these opportunities from the government, because it is theirs. I don't have any regrets being an employee of KEBS. I'm actually very proud, because from KEBS, it is what I am today. It has enabled me get housing, take my children to school. I've done so many social responsibility also to lift others through KEBS. What makes me proudly KEBS is the journey that I've journeyed, the way I've grown. KEBS has enabled me to grow from an office administrator to principal procurement officer. which is a plus, and also an auditor. And it has also enabled me to attain my goals in life. I'm Florence Akelo, and I am proudly KEBS.
For watching. This is Kenya Bureau of Standards. My name is Dennis, and asante sana for tuning in. This is Ask KEBS. The hashtag is Ask KEBS. Hapa tunasoma na kujua zaidi kuhusu Kenya Bureau of Standards. So if you're watching us from all the social media platforms, welcome, and this is a good time to learn more about Kenya Bureau of Standards. So we are live across all social platforms. That is on Facebook, on YouTube. We are also live on X, formerly called Twitter. Hapa ni Kenya Bureau of Standards, hashtag ni Ask KEBS. Ask KEBS always talks about things that Kenya Bureau of Standards does. You want to learn more about the processes within Kenya Bureau of Standards. Ujue KEBS exactly inafanya nini. We've had these different episodes before. We've talked about our National Quality Institute. That was the last episode. We also talked about our standards development process. We talked about our quality assurance processes and so many other processes in Kenya Bureau of Standards. So that is what we've been doing here at Ask KEBS, and that does not stop. That actually continues. And today we have a very, very amazing session, a very amazing episode where we'll be learning about supply chain, procurement. What is that all about? How does that come into play at Kenya Bureau of Standards? What do you need to be a supplier at Kenya Bureau of Standards? So all that today we'll be learning. So stay tuned. This is Ask KEBS. We are starting right now. Let us know our guests. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Deno. Good evening, everyone. My name is Josephine Mwakidhi. How are you, viewers? People on Twitter, X, the former X, the former Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. As I've told you earlier, my name is Josephine Mwakidhi. I joined Kenya Bureau of Standards 1997. So you can imagine, I have 8 years experience in managing supply chain. So I'm here this evening to unpackage the procurement process.
Amazing.
You are all welcome.
Amazing. 8 years in management.
8 years in management.
But you joined Kenya Bureau of Standards in 1997.
I joined in 1997. KEBS, I want to confirm to the viewers, Kenya Bureau of Standards give people opportunity to grow through the career. I joined as a junior officer, and right now I can confidently say I'm a manager. Thank you.
Amazing. And now that you are here in this episode, because we want to learn more about procurement, we want to learn what does it take for somebody to be a supplier at Kenya Bureau of Standards. But before even we get to all those technical details, we want to start from where it all begins. Tell us, procurement ni nini? What is this procurement, people say? And is there a difference between that and supply chain?
Thank you so much, Deno. My viewers, I want to inform you that I just want to give a brief. What is this procurement? Procurement is the process of acquiring goods, works, and services through competitive, fair, to ensure that whatever we are procuring, we are complying with Article 227, whereby we are not supposed to discriminate anyone. May it be youth, the women, persons with the disability. So we give procurement opportunity to each and every person who has qualified.
You have said Article 227.
Yeah.
Hiyo ni umeanza kutupeleka mbio sana. Hebu turudishe nyuma kidogo. Where does it all begin?
Okay. We carry out procurement process based on the procurement law, which is Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act 2015, and also Public Procurement Regulations or 2020, and also we have revision to that. So in that act, it stipulates on how you are supposed to carry out the procurement process. And one of the key issues is whereby the law says that we are not supposed to discriminate anyone. We are supposed to undertake procurement process competitively in compliance with Article 227, whereby the procurement process is supposed to be undertaken through competitive means. That is, how do we do that competitive? We send out quotation, we do tenders, and we advertise those tenders on the website and also on PPIP portal. So for you to participate in the procurement process, first of all, you can't just walk in and say you want to be a supplier in KEBS. the first thing, what you need to do,
Yes.
you need to register as a supplier. We run 2 processes of registration of suppliers, whereby one, we pre-qualify suppliers of complex procurement services. In our case, the suppliers for our chemicals, reagents, those ones we do pre-qualification of suppliers.
What do you mean when you say pre-qualification?
Pre-qualification is whereby if you're interested in participating in procurement, you bring your document. That is, you must comply with the eligibility. We call it, you have to be eligible. For you to participate in procurement, we must check whether you are paying government taxes. We want to know whether are you bankrupt. We want to know whether are you legally registered. So one of the key things to undertake any business in Kenya, you must be legally registered. Second, you must pay government taxes. Then, in case of the other category is youth, women's, and persons with disability. We call them Agipong group. Agipong group, whereby we are required 30% of our procurement budget we reserve to we call them disadvantaged group, youth, women, and persons with disability. Now, those categories are registered by Treasury. So when they bring their document, the only thing we check is whether their Agipo certificate is valid, tax compliant, business registration. We don't mind even the experience. Now, once you start supplying, you gain experience from there.
So for somebody who wants to start this process, you say they must first of all be legally registered.
They must be
So
legally
registered. Citizen.
They can be registered in the Huduma centers. Then they are registrar of companies. So you are supposed to take the required document there, then you are registered.
So you get the business or company registration certificate.
Yeah, you can get business or individual. It can either be a company, it can either be a business or individual, it can be a partnership.
So now umepata your business or your registration.
Yeah.
The next thing is to go and do your tax compliance.
The next thing is to do tax compliance.
That is through the KRA portal.
Through the KRA portal or through the Huduma centers.
And then now for youth, women, and people with disabilities, they go for Agpo.
Yeah, they go for Agpo. They are registered with the Treasury.
So they also get another document.
When they go to the website, they will see what are the requirements and the steps. The steps in which they are, the requirement, the complying document. Yeah.
So now they will bring all these documents, and what you will do is do pre-qualification.
We do pre-qualification, but before we do that, we'll do verification. We'll do verification. We don't want to take risk to do business with people who are not legally registered or they are not paying taxes. So we usually visit the KRA website, the Treasury website to confirm those documents.
So once you have verified this client or this supplier, now you will do pre-qualification for them.
Yeah, we put them in the database. When now the opportunity comes, now we give them the quotation, they compete among themselves.
So now, this person who has always wanted to start this process or start a business of supplying to Kenya Bureau of Standards, I hope ushajua kwamba you need to first of all be in good legal standing, have your taxes done right, register everything that you need to register with the relevant agencies that are within the business that you're conducting, and then come to KEBS. We will do a verification and then do you a pre-qualification. Now you will be among the people that KEBS can contract for supply.
Yeah, now we have three categories of supplies. We have one category, goods. Well, then you have second category, services. Then third category is works.
What is the difference between all those three? I thought it's one and the same thing.
No, the goods. The goods is the supply of, for example, like drinking water. Goods is something verifiable, tangible. Services, we are talking about consultancy. You want to participate in customer satisfaction survey. You want to participate, you want to hire your firm to do recruitment, to do training for us. Works, we have small works and major works. Small works is whereby we are talking about refurbishment, for example. We want to refurbish offices. Works is whereby now we are doing the actual construction. Maybe setting up new offices,
boundary walls. That is now what it entails to works. Now, I want now to take you further and tell you now, when you want to do those procurement, there's something we call threshold. Threshold. There are things which you do through quotation and others we do through public tender. Now, in the procurement law, when what you are procuring, it's around 3 million. We are allowed to do quotations
3
for
million.
goods. That may be stationery. You want to buy stationery, you want to buy laptop, small goods with the value of 3 million and below. The same case to services, 3 million and below. Now, when it comes to works, because it's complex in nature, now that one, now the provision for undertaking the quotation, it's a 5 million. You are allowed to do a quotation for 5 million. Yeah, and when you are undertaking those procurement, there are so many methods. There are so many methods depending on the needs. Yeah.
So probably when you say quotation, you say there's a threshold.
Yeah.
So at what point then, apart from the threshold, an organization can choose to go and say this time we're doing the quotation route, this time we're taking another route. Are they guided, or are they at liberty to choose whichever the method?
Okay, I want to take you back. You know, procurement is a process. Generally, procurement is a process whereby you do need identification.
Yeah.
After doing the need identification, you do the budgeting. After the budget has been approved, you do planning. After the plans have been approved by the Treasury and the National Standards Council. In our case, the law says that the National Standards Council is supposed to approve our plan. After it is approved now, during planning, the item you want to procure, now there is the value. You know, if this value is 3,000, this value is 5,000. The value of this item is 50. Now, based on that, now you choose the method of procurement. And in our law, you know, in procurement we are guided by law to ensure that what the procurement you are undertaking, you know, KEBS is a public entity.
True.
So whatever we are procuring, even if you go to other entities, we are using the same method, the same standard procurement document. And the standard procurement document, we have a body which usually regulate procurement processes. And now the document we use for procurement, they are the ones who give us those standard documents, and then we customize based on the need. Then we also have other bodies which regulate procurement. We have Treasury, which are tasked with the responsibility of reviewing the law and also formulating the policy and conducting also the training. We have also public procurement regulatory authority, who are our regulators. We also have review board, which handles the complaint of all procurement complaint. We have also KEBS, which regulate the procurement professionals. Myself, for me to undertake the procurement, I have to be licensed and have to have a membership.
So it's not anybody who can be a procurement person?
Not anybody who can be a procurement. You have to be licensed by KEBS and also you must have professional qualification in that field of procurement to undertake that procurement process.
Wow.
So the law, the procurement law is very clear. Even when we want to undertake the procurement, it gives you we have around 12 procurement methods. So depending on what you want to procure, now you choose method and also the value. I've highlighted on the issue of quotation. Now for open tenders, there is now where we do open tenders. Open tenders is whereby the threshold, whatever we are procuring, it's beyond, for goods, beyond 3 million, for services 3 million, for works 3 million. That one now will float tenders. And now, for us to comply with the requirement of fairness and competitiveness, we advertise our tenders on public procurement information portal, PPIP, which is domiciled under Public Regulatory Authority. Then also we advertise on our website. So viewers, if you want to participate in procurement processes, when we have those open tenders, you can visit our website. You can also visit the PPIP portal so that you can get knowledge on our upcoming our upcoming procurement. Right now, if you open viewers, I can task you to open PPIP portal, KEBS website, you'll see tenders running. I don't want to tell you which tender is running. Just confirm for yourself.
And now that on the website of KEBS, I will see you call it an open tender.
Yeah. No, now you can place open tender, restricted tender, open tender, restricted tender, consultancy. There are so many tenders which are there.
Let's come to these two. The first two you've talked about, open and restricted.
Okay.
What is the difference?
Now, the difference between the open tender is whereby you place it to public for anybody who feels that they can participate, for them to participate. And in that open tender, there is usually the requirement which are supposed to be met by the bidder. We have both the mandatory requirement and also the technical requirement.
So where will they see them?
The standard tender document.
Yes.
The document, it has all those requirements. Now, if you open that tender, the first thing you are supposed to do, go to that qualification for that chapter 4 on qualification requirement. That is where now you produce the document and see whether you have all those requirements. If you have requirement, participate. As we don't reserve tenders for specific individual. People compete competitively. If you meet the requirement and you have given us the lowest price and you meet all the technical and mandatory requirement, you are eligible to be awarded.
So that is.
But remember, I want to give a caveat. Please don't give us fake documents. If you give us fake documents, you'll be subjected to debarment.
What do you mean when you call it debarment?
Debarment, it's whereby you are not supposed to participate in any procurement across the country in any public institution. If you provide forged document and you are debarred from participating in procurement process for a period of 3 years.
So what you're saying is somebody who has submitted documents during it's an open tender.
It's an open tender.
The chapter 4 has said these are the requirements.
Yeah.
You have gone there and submitted the documents.
Yeah.
During your verification, you find that they have submitted fake documents.
Yeah.
You can initiate a debarment.
We can, as an institution, we can initiate a debarment. We can write to the public procurement regulatory authority. There is a body which does the investigation. From there now, they hand over the case to the investigating authority, in this case DCI or EACC. If they verify that indeed you forged the document, you are debarred from participating from procurement process for the next 3 years. So it's that serious.
Wow.
So if you want to participate in procurement, please ensure that all the documents you are submitting, they are right, because during the evaluation process, we will subject them, we'll verify them, we even do due diligence. For example, like even international tenders, the evaluation team, they carry out due diligence even out of the country. Then we write confidential letters to the firms where you have indicated you have done the similar work, indeed to verify whether what you are saying is true.
Wow, and that is done as just part of the process of getting a tender.
Now, that is the for example, now you want to participate in the tendering process.
Yes.
Now, that is what we call evaluation process. That process is now evaluation process, confirming whether you are meeting the requirement of the tender. After that, now we award you the tender, we sign the contract with you, and now to ensure that the process is transparent, after we have done that tender, we communicate to all the people who participated in the process. The law requires that once you have concluded the process, you do what we call intention to award. You communicate to the person who has won, you tell them you succeeded in this tender. Then the people did not participate. We tell you, you did not participate because of A, B, C, D, and the supplier X is the one who has been awarded. Now, after 14 days stay period is the time now. If we don't get any appeal, we award the contract. If there is an appeal, they are required to appeal to Public Regulatory Review Board. And when a tender is at a review board, everything stops. You know, we are supposed to, there is what we call validity period. When we don't do an open-ended procurement, that quotation you give, that price, it must have a validity period. So for example, if the quotation was for 3 months, you are supposed to conclude the process within 3 months. After 3 months, if you have not concluded the process, now that the process is not now valid, you terminate. But now that one is not encouraged. You encourage to complete the procurement process within the validity period and until you sign the contract. You can't sign a contract to a tender which has expired.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
And that is just for the, okay, you've explained the one that is called the
Open tender, yeah.
Now there's another one called restricted.
Okay.
I'm interested to know now, is there, why is it restricted?
Okay, now, no, I think I can finish the tender to the contract level. Now, after awarding the tender, if there is no complaint, we issue a letter of award. After issuing the letter of award, we enter into a contract with the successful bidder. If it's a complex project, maybe works or services, we do a CIT team. That team now is the one which is charged with checking whether the supplier is doing what he's supposed to do. And CIT, Contract Implementation Team, for complex project, to avoid the risk whereby an organization put up a building somewhere, then it becomes a ghost. Now, the essence of that team is to ensure the supplier is doing the right thing and also within the price. And during that time, for your information, to ensure that the organization gets value for money, the law is very clear. You can't change the prices in between. Until if we awarded you the contract, that you can only change the prices after 12 months. So if we give you a quotation to supply branded shirts, like the ones we have bought, now the dollar goes high. You can't come to us and tell us the price has gone high. We can't vary the contract until the contract is 12 months old. Now that is now about the open tender. Yeah, if it's for supply of goods, after award, the goods are delivered into the stores. They are inspected by inspection and acceptance team, and the user has to be there, even in the evaluation process. And to ensure that not the same people who undertake the procurement process, the evaluation team and the open team, they are called ad hoc committees. So in procurement, we don't have permanent committees. We change the committees.
So that's one person doesn't sit in the same committee.
There's a procurement, maybe for server, there's a procurement for purchase of motor vehicle, the same people, not to avoid the conflict of interest and also collusion. So the law requires that all those committees are ad hoc, and the only person who is supposed to constitute the committees is the accounting officer. And the accounting officer is the one who has been tasked with the responsibility of ensuring compliance with the procurement law. Whatever we are procuring is within the law, and we have budget for that.
Amazing.
Now we come now to the restricted tender. Now, the restricted tender, there are 3 ways of conducting restricted tender. The reason why we do restricted tender, basically most of the time, is to save time. You have something urgent, and maybe it's only available to a few people. Now, where you want to save time, the process, when you do an open tender, the cost of evaluating, it will be very high. Now, you give the quotation to, you remember I told you there are 2 ways of becoming a supplier in KEBS. Either we do pre-qualification, you do through pre-qualification, or we do open tender. Now, the team we are pre-qualified, those suppliers, we pick 10 firms. We give them a tender document. And that tender document for restricted follows the same process with the open tender. Then we have another process whereby we pick the list of pre-qualified suppliers. Remember, the pre-qualified suppliers, we have already subjected them when they are participating in the pre-qualification,
Yes.
you have told them to bring qualifying document.
Uh-huh.
For example, if it's a supplier of equipment, you have told them to bring manufacturer's authorization. They have to provide evidence of technical expertise. They have to prove that they have a running office and they have met all the requirements, eligible requirements. They have not been debarred. They are not corrupt. They have not been rendered bankrupt. They are paying taxes. They are legally registered. So all those things. Now, or the other method is whereby we call it, you restrict to a few known. You know, until the other day, the sector of consultancy, especially recruitment,
Yes.
there were only few firms. But now, because they are emerging firms, and you know the essence of the procurement process is to promote fairness and competition and ensure organization get value for money, you now place the advert on the website for 3 days, minimum 3 days. You can even do more days. Then you publish the same on the PPIP portal. PPIP portal is a government dedicated portal whereby you can peruse and see the ongoing document. And that is where, even once you have concluded the procurement process, we are required to upload all the documents from the requisition, opening minute, evaluation, contract, everything. So that even when the regulatory authority, which is PPRI, they just go to that website and that portal and open the process, which are procurement process, which has been undertaken by the organization. Then they check whether we are complying with the law.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All that is something that I hope when you tuna watch here episode we have learned. I am actually just so amazed to hear that a lot of the things you do have a law that guides, and everything that you're doing is in a confined and guided manner. That's amazing. Wale ambao mnatuona pale Facebook, pale X, pale YouTube, thank you so much for watching. This is Ask KEBS. We'll be taking a very, very short break, and once we come back, we'll be hearing more from Josephine about this whole procurement. Kuna mtu ameuliza addendum ni nini, and so many other things. Thank you, Abby. Thank you, Jen. And we'll be taking a break. We'll be back after this.
My name is Faisal Farah, and I work at Kenya Bureau of Standard, Wajir Outer Station, as an officer in charge. I was employed at KEBS in 2008, and I was taken to Mombasa, Kilindini, port office. And by then I was an inspection clerk, and I worked as an inspection clerk at the different CFSs. And from there I was taken to the main office at Ambalal, testing department, as again sample control officer, and now I'm based at Wajir Outer Station as an officer in charge. And my day-to-day activities include visiting supermarkets, grocery shops, and bakeries. We normally just do some spot check visits, and then give them some education on handling of those products. Doing inspection in porous borders is challenging, but we, the officers of Kenya Bureau of Standard, are trained fully to overcome those challenges, and we do the inspection as required. As a Kenya Bureau of Standard officer, my passion is to protect the life of the public by making sure I stand in between the substandard goods and the consumer. My work is to protect. And KEBS has equipped me with knowledge and skills and to work efficiently. And also, I've gained a lot of experience through working with multi-agency team. My name is Faisal Farah, and I am proudly KEBS.
Welcome back. This is Ask KEBS. My name is Dennis. Today we are talking about procurement. We are learning more about the procurement process. Tunasoma hapa tukiwa na Josephine, and she's telling us that so many things that we thought just happen normally. You would wake up and choose, I want to be a supplier at Kenya Bureau of Standards. Kumbe kuna sheria. kumbe kuna act, kumbe kuna PPRA, kumbe kuna so many things that today I've seen even somebody asking ataleta document wapi. So anytime you want to be a supplier at Kenya Bureau of Standards, things have been made very easy, and the experts in the organization are always here to support you and make sure that the process you're dealing with is very, very easy. So Josephine, tulikuwa mahali ulikuwa unatueleza zaidi kuhusu this whole procurement. Kuna mtu akauliza addendum, ukatuambia mnafanya debarment. Please, let's take us deeper into this whole procurement process.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, as I told you earlier, you know, procurement, that is why it's called chain. You know, procurement is a chain. It involves so many people. That is why it's called a chain. Now, I informed you earlier.
Yes.
With this, the issue of need identification, budgeting, planning, pre-qualification, user requesting the item based on their procurement plan. The plan, we are supposed to do the plan before the end of financial year.
Oh, there's a plan.
So we usually do a procurement plan before the end of by 30th. We are supposed to have done our procurement plan. Now, whatever you are procuring, it has now to be within that plan.
Plan inafaa ikuwe what does it
and
entail?
Now the plan entails, now the user identifies their procurement needs. Now they plan for that need. Now we do planning in 4 quarters. We have quarter 1, which begins from July to September. Quarter 2, October to December. Quarter 3, we have just concluded quarter 3. Quarter 3 begins in January to March. Then we have quarter 4, the last quarter now, where we are supposed to conclude all the procurement process based on the plan. For your information, if you are budgeted for an item to be procured within now, now we are currently on financial year 2024-2025. By 30th of June, if you have not undertaken that procurement process, hiyo budget imekunywa maji.
It's overtaken.
Sasa imekunywa maji.
Now,
when now the procurement process has been done, the evaluation committee have done the evaluation, they have done the verification, they now present the report to end of procurement. And not anybody, end of procurement. In my case, I have an end of procurement. She is called Madam Jane Dinya, who is a chief manager supply chain. Now, once the committee has finalized with their report, the report is taken to her, she reviews. After reviewing, checking that the report is compliant, the evaluation has been done within the tender document, it's within the law. Now she recommends for the award to the MD. Now, once the MD has approved, we now do LPO for goods, LSO for services. And our system, we run what you call ACPAC, ERP, ACPAC change, whereby the budget, that budget, it's linked to the budget, procurement plan budget, it's linked to the finance budget. Now, when we take now the approval to finance, they will check through, and every procurement has a vote. Made, for example, communication, you have your own vote. Supply chain we have our own vote. Regions, they have their own vote.
Oh, it's not the organization having money and
no,
now we don't have 30 million to buy everything.
That is why during the year, by December, every department, every region, you are required to budget. So the law is very clear. We can't procure anything if we don't have the budget. And that approval has to be done by the MD, has to be approved by the MD. And the plan has to be approved for the MD. But if it's the plan, if it's something you are planned for, the tender is the one we take to MD for approval. The other procurement we procure as per the plan. And that plan, it has the approval of the MD, the National Standards Council, and it has the signature for the MD and the chairman of the National Standards Council. And every department has their own vote. Every item, depending on the item, may it be training, may it be procurement of chemicals, reagents, stationery, every department have their own vote. And we have to comply to those votes. So that is why you will not hear KEBS having problem of pending bills.
Because we budget, we
We
plan for it.
procure. If you don't have the budget, we can't do anything. When you are giving us the requisition, you have to tell us the budget you are using. And we have to verify from finance what is the balance in this vote. So you realize KEBS, the pending bills are very minimal because we procure as per the budget.
That's amazing.
We procure, and for your information,
Yes.
the procurement, we have other regions. We have 6 regions. We have Mombasa, we have Mount Kenya, we have we don't call them Mombasa, we call them Coast Region, Mount Kenya Region, Northeastern, Lake, South Rift, North Rift, all those ones.
Yes.
The procurement is centralized, but them they don't handle high value procurement. So for high value procurement is usually undertaken at the headquarters. But even in those regions, we have qualified procurement team who undertake procurement in those regions. They are headed by competent and also competent team who are registered by KISM and licensed to undertake the procurement process.
So what you're saying is that even at regional level, the same process of verifying and doing that is also done at the regional level. That KEBS has decentralized all these things, but when it comes to the high value, it's done at the headquarters.
Yeah, when it comes to high value, it's done at the headquarters. Also, at the times we allow them to undertake the procurement, but the approval is done at the headquarters. The opinion is done by end of procurement, and also then forwarded to MD for approval.
That's amazing. Yeah. Now, there's 2 words you just mentioned somewhere. When you're telling us award, ukataja LPO, LSO, alafu ukapita. Na naona imeulizwa. Naweza tuambia hiyo ni nini?
Okay, LSO, LPO is local purchase order. That is now for goods. Now, it's a binding contract. So without LSO, you can't supply. For you, the proof that you supplied, you have to attach LPO, local purchase order. And now after delivery of goods, once you deliver the goods into the store, now that is what it's attached on. It's part of the supporting document that indeed this procurement process was approved. And this is now the LPO. And the LPO, local purchase order or local service order for services, it usually has a value. It has the value and the description of what is being procured.
It is that specific?
Yeah, now you can't bring just an LPO, written LPO. Now that LPO has a description. It has the description, the quantity, and the unit price and the total cost. It's IT generated. It also captures the VAT. Now, it captures the VAT. Now, recently, PPRI, I want to inform the prospective suppliers, even in other government institutions. PPRI, they have introduced what we call capacity levy. Now, for any procurement, when they are quoting, they must quote the price of that capacity level, which is 0.03% of the total value. Of the total value.
For something 1,000, 0.03%.
Now, there's somebody who asked about an addendum. Now, an addendum, it's a clarification. An addendum can arise in 2 ways, either from the procuring entity, B, or from the supplier. Now, for example, we are flow tender. We want to procure, I'll take something very easy. We want to procure a laptop. Now, in that laptop, maybe the specification, there's something which is not clear. Maybe there was in the process of procuring documents, there is an omission. Now, the bidder realizes that there is an omission, something is missing. Now, the bidder it's required to do to seek for clarification in writing. Now, in the tender document, they allow me to use the technical jargon. We call it data sheet. In the data sheet, it gives you how you are supposed to seek it for clarification. The email, it usually has the email of where you are supposed to seek the clarification. Now, when you seek the clarification, we are required to respond to you 3 days before. And now, to ensure that we don't have people who are, their work is just to ensure that that process does not go through. Now we usually set a timeline. You don't ask a clarification 2 days to closing the tender. So there's usually a limitation. There's usually days, a period whereby after these days, don't ask for clarification. If it is maybe, for example, like now we have just concluded the tender for catering or maybe cleaning, we usually even do what we call site visit. We ask the bidders to come and have a view, an insight on what the areas they are going to clean, the type of services they are needing. So depending on the tender, there are those tenders with the site visit, others don't have the site visit. So the essence of the addendum is to give information which has been omitted. Also, as a PE, procuring entity, during tendering process, maybe you have omitted something. And now we want to clarify. That is what we call addendum. And now those addendums, they form part of the tender. Addendum might be, for example, we are supposed to open the tender and it falls on an holiday. You see, you can't open the tender on an holiday. So we can issue the clarification, pushing extending the opening date. So addendum is for giving more information to ensure that the process is transparent and also competitive, and also the bidder who is bidding, we are getting the right services, goods or works.
So that's why that big term called addendum. Unajua, it is so big that sometimes it shocks people when they're seeing such big jargons. I hope you have understood that addendum is clarifications either coming from the suppliers themselves or the organization. Now, this is Ask KEBS. My name is Dennis. It's learning session. Sijui kama mko na notebooks, sijui kama mmechukua kalamu na leo mkajua kuhusu procurement. Mjue kwamba anytime Kenya Bureau of Standards is calling for tenders, it has floated on our website or anywhere you will see them. That
PPIP portal.
Yeah, the PPIP portal. There is procedures and laws that are guiding. So KEBS is that legally compliant, and to make sure that what we do in the end of it has met or is within the realms of the law. Now, I've seen a question here that has asked about a foreigner who wants to be a service provider to Kenya. What are they supposed to do? Can they supply KEBS services?
Yeah, foreigners, we give opportunities to foreigners.
Yes.
However, the law requires that we subject them to margin of reference. Now, when a foreigner is participating, for example, in a tendering process, will not put them at par with the citizen contractors. Citizen contractors, they are Kenyans whose firms have been registered in Kenya. Now, we subjected them to margin of reference.
When you say margin of reference?
Okay, when you say margin of reference, it's whereby, for example, now, if that foreigner has scored 80, and the local person has scored 60, there's a formula which is put to ensure that the local suppliers are not disadvantaged. Also, when you are supplying as a foreigner, you are required 40% of what the materials you are sourcing, either materials or the labor. 40% you get it locally.
Oh, the foreigner has to get locals and local services.
So if, for example, a foreigner wants to come here and provide services, goods, supplying goods, works or services. Now, the goods he is supplying, 40%, they have to be locally made. Buy Kenya, build Kenya.
Amazing.
We call it Buy Kenya, build Kenya.
It is in the law?
It's in the law. 40% of the employees, 40% of the materials, they have to be locally serviced so that you can promote our industries.
That's
you know,
amazing.
in the spirit of promoting our industries, we are required even in our plan. We put 40% of our budget to local, we procure products which are locally manufactured so that you can promote our industries. That is how our government cares about our local industries. We are required to source 40% locally, and also even on consultancy, the firms which are registered in Kenya, so that we can also lift our people.
That's amazing. All that now is where I think experts like you, people who are registered by KISS, is it
We are professionals. We have the codification, and also we are registered, are licensed, and also we are trained. We go for training, capacity.
Building.
The organization train the supply chain team like any other department,
Wow.
whereby we get experience, we get to understand the laws, the regulation, and also we have procedures in place.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we have procedures in place.
It's amazing to learn that all these things, that even Buy Kenya, Build Kenya is something that people in the procurement and supply chain are very interested to achieve. And when they talk about the 40%, I'm also interested, is the KEBS as an organization, do we have a threshold that we have set then for probably local service providers or local, you call them citizens? Do we have a threshold for that?
Yeah, okay. In our procurement plan,
Yes.
which plan is on our PPIP portal,
Yes.
there are certain items. We have said this one we are going to procure locally. For example, the vehicles, the Isuzu vehicles, the Isuzu vehicles, we are bought them locally. Yeah.
It's that Buy Kenya.
Yeah, Buy Kenya. Even some items, even some chemicals in the labs, which are manufactured, the promotional materials, those are Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. For example, the shirt we are wearing.
Yes. It's a product of a Buy Kenya, Build
It's
Kenya.
a product of Buy Kenya, Build Kenya.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. That is the
Rivertex. We bought from the Egerton.
The Rivertex.
The Rivertex.
That's amazing. So I hope now to my it's Rivertex. Yes.
Yeah.
They are the
the shirts which are every KEBS stuff is branded. This is Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. Amazing. Even the water we are drinking, this is Buy Kenya, Build Kenya.
Amazing.
Yeah, and we do report to Ministry of Industrialization, showing that we are complying.
To the Buy Kenya.
To the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya, we are complying. We are giving 30% of work to youth, women, and persons with disability. We do report to PPRI and also to Treasury.
Wow. Yeah. So you are encouraging people locally to actually get to be business people and to venture into this business of supplying.
Yeah, but now for them to be competitive, I'm talking now to the local industry.
Yes.
You know, ours is a standard-based organization.
Yes.
Now, whatever you are supplying, it has to meet both the Kenyan standards or international standards. Our organization is called Kenya Bureau of Standards, and we deal with setting standards. Amazing. So whatever you are supplying, it has to meet all the standards.
Amazing. Yeah. So is there anything else probably you would want to tell somebody who is watching this episode that would be helpful to them as they plan to be a future supplier to Kenya Bureau of Standards? Anything you would want to probably point them towards the right direction?
Oh, yeah. Now, I have good news. I want to tell you that now the government is rolling out EGPT, Electronic Government Procurement, whereby in July, all the procurement will be undertaken through e-system. We'll have just one platform, one system for government procurement.
Yes.
So currently the suppliers are registering. So if you want to be a prospective supplier, visit Treasury website, EGPT website, register as a supplier. At the same time, also, you can drop your company profile to our organization as we transit to EGPT, Government Electronic Procurement.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You have been so kind to break these processes down. I feel like after this, somebody who has always been having questions, kwanza nimeona Essie akiuliza ataleta documents wapi. Essie, now you know where to start. Kuna hiyo ya Treasury, na pia you can come to KEBS and bring your company profile and you can start that process as early as now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Amazing. So this is Kenya Bureau of Standards. The hashtag is AskKEBS. Uliza maswali. Tuko hapa kukujibu. Uliza Josephine maswali ambayo ungetaka kujua about our supply chain. You know, we have learned that today it is a chain. It is not a one-off process.
Yeah.
It takes so many other processes to actually be a successful procurement process.
Yeah.
And that is why you have the word chain in it. We verify documents. Make sure you have a good legal standing within the government, within the laws that you're supposed to be operating in, and visit our offices, visit our procurement portal and the KEBS website to see any tender that is there. We have learned the difference between the open, the restricted one.
Tender quotation.
Tushajua quotation.
Consultancy.
Tushajua LPO. tushajua LSO.
Yeah.
Leo tumetoka
Low
hapo.
value.
Low value, high value,
High
kuna
value,
threshold.
kuna threshold,
Hii-
threshold matrix,
yes.
whereby it has all the procurement procedures and the methods.
Amazing.
Yeah, there's open, national, international.
Procurement is such an interesting world.
Yeah.
If you would sit with experts like this every day, it would be such an amazing day. That is the Ask KEBS. My name is Dennis. I want to remind you that while you're going out there to purchase products, this is Kenya Bureau of Standards. And as you're going to purchase water or any other product you're going to purchase, make sure ume-verify. Make sure umeangalia kama hiyo product imepitia hapa Kenya Bureau of Standards. And how you can do that is by going to the product itself, locate the KEBS logo, go to that chini ya hiyo logo kuna code imeandikwa either SM hash a number ama DM hash with a number. Send that code to 20023, verify, and it will give you feedback. Should you have a challenge, we do have a toll-free number. KEBS has made it very easy for you to reach to us. Our toll-free number is 1545 1545. Make sure you just give us a call during normal working hours. That is from 8 a.m. all the way to 5 p.m. and you can be able to get assistance about any KEBS services, including procurement. So if you want to know how to navigate the procurement processes, uko na maswali, call to speak to the procurement office. They are going to make sure you have an easy way through your processes and engagements with Kenya Bureau of Standards. Our other number is 020-694-8000. And our website is www.kebs.org. So now, Josephine, I would like you to probably give us a parting shot or kitu ya mwisho yenye watu watakumbuka hii episode nayo.
Okay, the parting shot is KEBS. It's an equal opportunity, gives an equal opportunity for all suppliers. May it be big suppliers, small suppliers, we even grow suppliers, from small suppliers, suppliers of printing paper, to the SMEs. We call them SMEs, the big suppliers. So visit if you want to know how to provide the goods, works, or services to be a supplier. Procurement has a dedicated, qualified team headed by an experienced chief manager and the entire team, plus the regions. You can visit either the quarters, our regions, and learn about how to be a supplier in Kenya Bureau of Standards. Thank you so much.
Asante sana. Thank you so much. And that is the Ask KEBS. Honorable Justice K. Ruto, thank you so much for watching. I think I've seen your question about how to regarding a product called rice. Justice, if you want to verify the product you're going to purchase, make sure locate the KEBS logo and verify. And if you have any challenges, just give us a call using our toll-free number, that is 1545. We shall be able to assist. Richie Mutegi, thank you so much for watching. Eva Jacobs, thank you so much for watching. Jen Dinya, thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure. I've seen so many other people here. Juliet, I've seen Vera. Thank you so much for watching Kenya Bureau of Standards. Gideon, I've seen Austin also watching. Ari254, thank you so much for watching. This is Ask KEBS. My name is Dennis. It's been a pleasure and such an amazing time to have you guys watching and learning more about procurement. We'll be back again with another episode of Ask KEBS, so stay tuned. That was all the time we had today. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
My name is Vincent Cheruyot. I'm currently the regional manager, North Rift region. I was born over 50 years ago in Nyeri County. I joined the University of Nairobi and studied a Bachelor of Science in Food Science and Technology. Thereafter, I was privileged to join the Kenya Bureau of Standards. While at the Kenya Bureau of Standards, I had an opportunity also to further my studies. I managed to do my master's program, and I'm currently finalizing my PhD. I'm a PhD candidate currently, all because of the environment and the support from KEBS, in addition to numerous other opportunities for training, both locally and abroad. The North Rift region started in 1999 with 5 people, and currently we have over 60 people stationed in various areas. We cover 7 counties, and among the counties is Bungoma, Trans Nzoia, Uasin Gishu, Elgeyo Marakwet, Nandi County, and West Pokot, including Turkana County also. We also have border points, namely Eldoret International Airport and Malaba border point. So we have staff in all those areas, and we have grown over the years. We've also expanded even the border points. Currently, we also have Lwakaha, and we'll be in Swam, which is a border between Uganda and Kitale in Trans Nzoia County. The growth of the North Rift region began in earnest in 1999 with the Eldoret International Airport, and KEBS officers were required to be there to clear the cargo. The journey has been quite exciting and very systematic. I remember in the year 2004, because of the growth of the activities, we had to acquire another office in Eldoret town, which was housing the other activities like quality assurance and market surveillance, while retaining the office at the airport. So from then, we had about 10 members of staff. And in the year 2013, we were able to start one basic microbiology lab, which is basically a lab that tests for microbiology parameters with 2 members of staff. Then from there, the government allocated us land within Eldoret town, opposite Ardhi House, and we budgeted for it, and by the year 2017, we were able to get an approved budget for the construction of the Eldoret complex. My role as a regional manager are quite diverse and quite challenging and very dynamic. Among the functions I'm supposed to carry out is to oversee all the activities within the region. And we have very many sections in this region. We have a quality assurance section, which is composed of officers who go out to the manufacturing industries and assist the manufacturers acquire KEBS standardization mark. We also have market surveillance officers. We have the support staff, human resource. We have a registry, we have a procurement function, a finance function. So I oversee all that. I also get an opportunity to call all my direct reports. We are required to meet on a planned and scheduled basis to discuss the quality systems that we implement in the region and as an organization. Occasionally, I also chair staff meetings, departmental meetings within the region on a scheduled basis. And I also operate open door policy. In fact, in my office here, I don't have any appointments. I do an open door policy. If I'm available, any member of staff or an external stakeholder is free to see me at any one time. The North Rift region has 3 laboratories which do analysis, namely chemistry parameters, microbiology parameters, and also food and agriculture. And within those labs, we also take in students on attachment from universities, from polytechnics, and other TVET organizations. This is a role that we do to support our students to gain knowledge and to also operate in a lab which practices what I would call best practice under an ISO standard called ISO 17025. So that really assists our students to get to know the best practice and how a national standardized or a national standards lab works. My name is Vincent Cheruiyot, Regional Manager, North Rift Region in the City of Champions, and I'm proudly KEBS.